in behalf of our Meditation Center, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone and warm greetings and lovely greetings, and thankful that everyone is gathering once again tonight. So tonight we have two groups, the English group, the Arabic group together with us, and of course our dear speaker, Miss Aruna Ladva. And we also appreciate that each one of you had taken a special time to be positive, to experience being positive with us, to stay with us, and take the positivity and reject the positivity. So with the life that we have, what we have gone through life is a journey. And every time situations come, we either react or respond to the situation, trying to maintain a balance and at the end, try to come up with peace with the self, with God and others. So varied interactions can come along the way. One is, I can be positive with a positive situation. Of course, that is no big deal. Another instance would be, I can be negative with a positive situation. Of course, that is a losing proposition, and we have experienced that. And in a way, we tell ourselves it should not have been like that. Another scenario is being negative in a negative situation. So again, it's not a gaining moment for us, no? And ideally, to have a win-win situation is for any situation, especially a negative situation that comes, to stay positive even in a negative situation. So this is what our dear positive speaker, Miss Aruna Ladva, would share to us tonight. And of course, most of you, I think, had welcome, sister. Yeah, okay, just come to the screen. So it's good to see you again. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so right time. So as I was saying, that I think many of our viewers, of our contact, our friends know you already. Yeah. So anyway, just to give some highlights about our dear sister, Ms. Aruna Ladva. So she's currently the director of the Kuwait Meditation Center. And I would always remember her as one of the founders and as one of the key persons who had made the meditation center in Bahrain really come up to this point. No? So we really thank her for that, for all of her effort and energy. And she still sustains us, even though she is not with us physically, but spiritually, she's always with us. With her gift and talent of easily communicating wisdom, insights she has gained from her spiritual journey. So actually, she started from a young age. At what age, sister? 12?
Young age, just a young age.
Okay, she'll tell you about it. And also, always being positive as she can at any situation. I would say, this is from me, sister, she has become a spiritual ambassador to humanity. And really, okay, from being with her, I would say that honestly, she has become an ambassador to humanity. So she has authored 6 series of the book, which started with her blog, It's Time. And the latest is It's Time to Do the Inner Work. Year round, she would always organize creative retreats, as many would look forward to. And one of these that they always would want to go is the Inner Peace, Inner Power Retreat in India. Okay, or she would be somewhere at a certain location in the world, giving seminars, lectures, or interacting with people spiritually. So I would say also, before the pandemic, she has been a spiritual globe trotter. Okay? But nothing can stop her. Even coronavirus can't stop her. See, okay, she has been busy more than ever, sharing a lot. So for tonight, we all come together. The beauty is we all come together from different parts of the globe, spiritually connected to learn and experience being more and more positive, especially nowadays in negative situation. Without much ado, I would like to give the stage to our dear Miss Aruna Ladva. I would call her our dear sister Aruna. Welcome and thank you again for being with us.
Thank you, Vicky. What a long and lovely introduction. Now I have to live up to that. And thank you everyone for joining. I know these days we have a lot of choices on Zoom, what to attend. So the fact that you're with us, that's lovely.
Oh, there's no sound. No sound.
So as you know, the
No,
topic.
you mute that one, and this one I can put on.
So as you know, the topic is being positive in negative situations. And let me tell you that it has certainly been a journey for me. I wasn't born positive, and not that I was born negative either, but the point is that the world tends to focus more on the positive. In other words, our mind tends to jump more to the negative. And so then what happens is we get influenced by this. And immediately we start to create those thoughts. So in this day and age, it takes a little extra effort to stay positive. You don't need to make any effort to be negative because, you know, that's what people tend to jump to thinking. So let me tell you, yeah, it's been a process. So I'll share some of those tips of what I've been doing, what I've been learning, what I've been practicing. And together with that, some other facts and information that I have for you today. So, you know, this famous story of this, there were these farmers that came together because there was no rain, right? And they thought, let us go to the church and pray. And hopefully through our prayers, there will be rain. So what happens is, together with the farmers comes a little boy. But the little boy, he brings an umbrella. And so this is faith, isn't it? This is faith, that everybody else is still hoping, still praying, let there be rain, let there be rain. But the boy already is convinced that the prayers are going to work and yes, there's going to be rain. So let me say that to be positive is not that we don't see the negative. We see the negative, but we choose to be positive. I think we have to be practical and we have to be realistic. Okay, so maybe you see that your kids are not studying, and if they don't study, yes, they may get bad grades. You see either of your spouse has some certain habits that if they continue, they can have health issues. You can see maybe your neighborhood is getting a bit dirtier. I mean, we see all these things. We are not immune, you see, to what is happening out there. So in light of seeing that, in light of seeing all that, we stay positive. That's why we say be positive. Because we're seeing everything, but you know what? The big word, we're choosing to stay positive. And that's what we need to put our effort to. That's what we need to water on a daily basis. As I said, no need to make effort to be negative, okay? We need to make effort to be positive. So it's not that we are denying reality. We are making the best of what is the worst. This is positivity, making the best of what is the worst. And we have to look for the gains, we have to look for the pluses, we have to look for the positives. And this is what needs that extra power. just to have that extra thought to say, okay, well, what's the best I can find in this situation? What's the best quality I can find in this person? What's the lesson in this for me? How can I grow from this? Why is this of benefit for me? These are some of the words you can use to begin to stay positive. So I know many times where, well, let me give you an example. I used to stay with a friend, and she kept saying, right? She kept saying, I need a break, I need a break. And then you know what happened? She broke her foot. She kept saying, I need a holiday, means I need a break. But then she said, then what happened is she was climbing up some steps, putting something on top in the closet. And she just missed the last step and fell and, broke a bone in the leg. So she got like 3 months holiday. That was her break. So there's many times like this when we go through situations, not expecting it in this way, but in a way we have attracted it. So this is one reason why we have to be very careful about negative thinking, or even, let's say, the choice of our thoughts. Because we might think, like, for example, we might think, well, what's wrong with having a break? There's nothing wrong with having a break. But am I struggling? Am I suffering while I'm saying that? There's nothing wrong in envisioning, there's nothing wrong in planning for it. But if while I'm having the thought, there is a difference in thought and decision and action, then it's not in alignment, you see? And so that discrepancy is then what makes life a struggle, makes life difficult. If I have the thought and then I say it and then I do it, this is me being in alignment, more towards, let's say, being positive. I have the thought, I think it, yes, I would like a holiday, I express it, and then I put it into action where I start to plan for it. But sometimes what happens is there's just a lot of mental pollution, let's say thought pollution. So we have lots of thoughts, and sometimes even the good thoughts get washed out with the bad thoughts. The negative thoughts get washed out with the positive thoughts. And so this is why I'm saying, get clear on what you want, put focus and energy on that on a daily basis, and then attract that towards yourself. So what I'm trying to say is, even in a situation like now, I know that quite a few people are going to be threatened. They haven't lost their jobs yet, but they're being threatened with losing their jobs. So how can you make this into something positive? And let me tell you from my experience, when I was actually fired from work, I was fired because 2 companies amalgamated. So now they had double the staff. And so they were cutting some from there, some from there. And I never thought that, you never think it's you, right? You think you're great and perfect, and you never think that it's you. And so one day the lady just came to my office and she said, Aruna, and I said, me? She said, yes, because we were all kind of, seeing it happen to others. And of course, I went to a friend's house. I had tears. And of course, she talked me out of it. But, that week, end of that week, I just started looking at all my options. And I just started to see, okay, what else can I do with my life now? And on hindsight, I could see that that was the best thing that happened to me, because I would have never left that job because it was just too comfortable. But the fact that this drama happened to me, I now, delved into other things, which is perhaps why I'm sitting in front of you and actually speaking, talking, seminaring, lecturing. So that was, in a way, the seed of all that. And then I went on to get my conflict resolution training, and everything just flowed in a different way, but it flowed, right? So this is why I'm saying, really from experience, that trust, anybody who's looking for work, trust that something beautiful, something valuable, something better is waiting for you. And I really mean that. Maybe what you had, you thought was perfect, or the perfect scenario. But maybe now life wants to show you something else. Life wants to give you another experience with another bunch of people, with a new set of people in a new environment. And so really we have to stay positive. We have to be open to all the possibilities. And as we do that, then we stop worrying. You see, in fact, there's a quote, right? That instead of worrying what you can't control, see what it is that you can create. Instead of worrying about what you can't control, see what it is that you can create. And this creation is in our hands, right? So choice is in our hands, creation is in our hands. Our mood, our state of mind is in our hands. So all these things are in our hands for us to, determine a beautiful day every day. Okay. So back to, just a bit of this before I get into some of my points. So when we talk of changing the negative to positive, I was brainstorming with a few of my friends here. And one of them gave a nice example of when we have compost, when we have manure. So what is compost? Compost is all these peels from the vegetables, right, that are mixed in with the hay, with the green, whatever, nitrogen, whatever. And then you create this lovely compost. And this good compost, or even manure that you buy from the shops, it helps the plants to grow. So on the one hand, the compost, it really smells, right? If you go near a compost, you'll be like holding your nose. But then when you pick the flower, what does the flower smell like? Or the lily or whatever, jasmine, it just smells so beautiful. So this plant has converted the manure into a fragrance. And that's the analogy I'd like you to keep in your mind, that when we are talking about changing negative to positive, it's really something like that, where we are changing something that's not good, not healthy, not beneficial, very weak energy into a very powerful, strong energy. And this empowering energy is what's going to keep us happy and light and peaceful. And that's what we want. That's what we want to feel all the time. Right? We don't want to be in that negative state. Nobody chooses to be in a negative state. But negativity is there because the positivity is not there. It's really like darkness and light. We fall into darkness only because there's no light, there's no candle, there's no sun, there's no moonlight. So again, negativity is not there. Actually, it doesn't exist, but there isn't enough of the positivity. And that's what we need to do and cultivate. So that's what I want to get into now. So being positive, okay, I have a few points here, and then I have a few nice quotes as well. So being positive is an art, and we need to cultivate it. And I'll put these points on the chat afterwards, so don't worry about noting it. So being positive is an art, and we really need to cultivate it. And that means we have to really put our energy into it. So there's an expression, where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, life grows. And why we say it's an art? Because an art means you have to master it. In other words, you have to know which thoughts to create when, with what intensity, in which moment, with whom, This is the art of positive thinking. like positive thinking also implies that you follow through with the positive action. That's why it's an art. It's translating that positive thought into your positive action. And something that my sister Nimu has been focusing on, and she's mentioned it a few times, and that is that it's no point saying something positive when your feelings are not positive. So your thoughts can be positive, right? In other words, you say, yes, yes, I wish you well. Yes, yes, happy birthday. Or, but are you really feeling that way? Are you really feeling a well-wisher for that person? Is it genuine? Or you might say, I wish you success. Oh yeah, have a good day. When maybe you're not feeling well and you don't have the best of wishes for everyone because you're not feeling good. So thought, word, deed, but also, feeling. Let me not forget that. You have to also feel the positivity. That's where it all starts from. So being positive is an art. We have to cultivate it on a daily basis. And I'll give you tips for that as well. And then being positive means that you are healthier for it. How many people fall sick because of negative thinking? The first person that negativity hits is me. If I'm thinking negative, it hurts me first. Not only in my heart, not only I get a headache, but somewhere it will affect the weakest organ. So I cannot afford actually to think negative. Yeah, we don't think bad, right? We don't really think very bad thoughts, like malicious thoughts. But we shouldn't also be thinking negative. In other words, oh, maybe it won't happen. It can't possibly happen. It can't possibly be like this. Or, I mean, you all know there are certain thoughts we all gravitate to in terms of our life experience. So trust and be present and know that it's all about me keeping myself healthy. So every morning, imagine, as I said, it's an art, cultivate, right? Imagine this, there's actually a, not story, but a statement that imagine if every day people could see running along your forehead all the thoughts that you were creating. Imagine every day as you're going to work, as you're at work, as you're at home, whatever thought you create, it runs across here. Wouldn't we be more mindful of our thinking? We would, right? So yeah, very important to know that although people can't see the actual thoughts, but they can see it in your persona, demeanor, in your vibration, in your face. So yeah, healthy thoughts create healthy body, okay? Next, being positive actually makes us grounded. What do I mean by that? It makes us grounded in reality. It makes us stop losing more power. Because as I said, we have to be practical. We have to be practical. Yeah, if today all day actually it's been cloudy and rainy here. And so what? I don't deny that there is the rain or the clouds. So I'm being practical. I'm not fooling myself. Yes, it could be a better day for sure. But still, I say if I want to go out, put on my wellies, I take the umbrella and I can go out. You see? So what I'm saying is you're not living in some la-la land by just thinking positive thoughts and really fooling yourself. You're mastering that moment. You're mastering that moment, and that's the important thing. And there's also another expression with this. We say, if you resist, it persists, right? So if you resist, if I resist the cloudy day, what's going to happen? It's just going to make me feel worse and worse. So what do? I embrace it and I say, wow, wonderful. And it's true, actually. It's nice. Have you tried walking in the rain? It's lovely. Okay, not every day, not like the postman who has to walk every day, perhaps, but, just occasionally. It's nice. They actually say it's very therapeutic to walk through the rain. So again, learning to love everything, right? Learning to appreciate everything. That's what I mean about grounding in reality. It makes you stay in the now moment. So what do I mean by the now moment? Again, see, where is the fear? Why do we become afraid? When I think of the past or when I think of the future? I become afraid of the past because of what I may have done, okay? But I also become afraid of the future, of what might happen. But positive thinking makes me grounded in the now moment. So all of you, I'd like you to just feel this moment right now, just this moment and this moment and this moment. It's an absolutely pure and beautiful moment, not polluted by the past and not polluted by future thoughts. Right? So this is what we need to be in. And then when we're in the now moment, then we can really appreciate everything. See, most of the time, you know what it's like when you're there, but you're not present. It's for example, like sometimes when I'm listening to something on my headphones, and then I miss some of it. It's still there, it's going in, but my attention wasn't on it. My attention went to cooking or placing something or getting something or choosing something. So this is what I mean. If I'm in the now moment, I'm present and I'm capturing the best of every moment. And that's what we need to do. If I'm to stay positive, I stay present, not worrying about the past and not worrying about the future. And just really enjoying this moment. If you are positive, you are open to all possibilities. You are open, you are brave, you are hopeful, courageous. If I'm positive, you think when you are positive, you can conquer the world. Anything is possible, right? So this is how I'd like you to think. When one is positive, then what can one not do? And on the contrary, when one is negative, then one can't even get off their couch because the burden of the heaviness of the situation is just too much. So positive thinking is, like you can say, a motivator, it's an accelerator, it's an engine. And when I think positive, I can achieve anything I want. So this is how we need to see positive thinking working for us. Every time I think positive, I'm not doing anybody else a favor. I'm doing myself a favor. It's working for me. And when it's working for me, then the world is your oyster because you can achieve anything. And we've seen so many cases of this, where people who have made something of their life from nothing. So many people who have used you can say their weaknesses to their betterment. And as I said, the world is your oyster. Okay? So open to possibilities. Positive thinking helps you to have vision. When I'm positive, what does that mean? That means I see something. If you're with somebody who's positive and you're not so positive, what do you say? You ask them, you say, what do you see that I'm not seeing? Don't we say that? Because they can see a better outcome. They can see something great that can take place here. This is how positive thinkers become very good problem solvers, because they just look outside of the box. You know, there was a video I received where there was this Indian company that was sewing certain things, clothes, and then suddenly they had to stop. But then the director suddenly had this thought that, no, let's start creating this PVC equipment for the COVID. And that's what they started to do. And they actually, I don't know, doubled or tripled their profits. So if you're not in a state of panic, if you're not stressed, then you can be open to these possibilities. And you can think outside the box, and then you can say, oh, what can we do now? And that's what they did. They turned around and did that. In fact, Nokia company, I remember, Nokia, they were doing really well at some point. Do you remember the phone company? But then the director or CEO, one of them, he said, I realized that we didn't keep up with the times. We didn't move fast enough with the times. So they could have equally had a share in the market. But again, we have to move with the time. So we have to have a vision for what we want, and then that positive thinking can take us there. So positive thinking is the vision, but it's also the journey. It's the destination and the journey. So being positive, let me mention, we have to create a positive language. If you're positive, your language will be positive. And that means using empowering words. So really, I want you to check tonight and tomorrow. What are some of the words that you frequently use in your language? Is it words like I can't? Is it words like I'm stupid? Is it words like it's impossible? Or it's never going to happen? Actually, there's no such word as never, because something always happens sometime. So never doesn't exist. So be selective about your vocabulary, because it's not just the vocabulary, is it? It's the feeling that's behind that vocabulary. Anyway, I'll come to that in a few minutes. And yes, positive thinking makes you feel good. Doesn't it make you feel good? Like when you think positive, even if the situation is forcing you to think another way, but when you really conquer that and you start thinking positive, you just feel lighter, you feel happier for it. So let's say, for example, you're driving on the motorway and the car breaks down. Of course, you can think, wow, now what? My time's wasted. I can't get to my destination. I can't do what I want to do. But if one of you in that group starts to say, hey, come on, okay, until the repair guy comes, let's play, let's sing something, let's tell stories or something, then that moment really becomes a memorable moment. And this is what I've experienced, that with my friends at least, like nothing ever is bad, nothing ever is wrong, because we always seem to make the best of that moment, the best of everything. And when you're in that mindset, then things move faster. So the service guy will come quicker, and then you say, no, we haven't finished telling our stories yet. You should have come a bit later. You see? So when we really shift our energy to something that's enjoyable, pleasurable, fun, loving, then really it's not a big deal, and we actually move things quicker. So this is what I mean about it really makes us feel good. And then positive thinking also makes us stop wastage and leakage, right? Because when we focus on positive, think about it, when you have a positive thought, it's only one thought or maybe two thoughts. But when you think negative, how many thoughts is it? Several. Yeah, several. So like if you think negative about a person, you say, well, I know they meant that. I know they looked at me like that. I know they don't like me. I know they didn't want me at their party. Anyway, it's endless. But when you say, oh, this person is nice, that's it. It stops there. This person is good. This person is nice. Oh, this food is lovely. If you don't like the person, you don't like their food, you'll find a million faults in it. But if you just stay positive and say, wow, this is lovely. Thank you. So appreciative. That's it. You just need a few words. So that's what I mean about, there is no leakage in the soul. And that's where we want to be, because every time we meditate. So, okay, let me come on to some of these points of that's the advantages of being positive. So how to stay positive now? So let me ask you something. Here I have something. I know you can't talk, but you can at least write. So what do you see here? Yeah, you see the pink dot? Yeah, you see the pink dot? Okay. How many of you see the 99% white space? Yeah? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is all about, as I said, being positive in a negative situation. Yeah. We always look at the one negative. Very good for seeing the white. Yeah. So we always look at, imagine if my little jacket had a black dot here. That's what you would focus on. You'd say, can't she get herself another jacket? Right? But you don't see that 99% of me is, I comb my hair today, I wash my face today, I brush my teeth today. You're not seeing that, right? So this is my point, that being positive is really about focusing in on the 99%. Okay. So yeah, how to do it. So first I have to mention this, that we have to we have to meditate on a daily basis. Of course, I'm a meditator. I meditate every morning, afternoon, evening. And I can't see my life without meditation now. But meditation helps us to slow down our thoughts, not in an unproductive way or inefficient way. No, it just helps us to slow down our thoughts so that now we can choose. You see, because the thoughts are coming slower, I can choose now. Oh, do I want to do this or that? Whereas if I'm not meditating, the thoughts can run wild. And when they run wild, we have no control. And that's why we end up saying things we don't want to say. We end up doing things we don't want to do. And that's when we're not happy with ourselves, because we went against our positive, pure grain, positive, pure heart. So in essence, for now, I would say, yeah, meditation helps us to slow down our thoughts, helps us to consciously create positive, powerful thoughts. So you've got to meditate on a daily basis. The other thing you've got to do, let me see all of you smile. Those of you who've got your videos on. So you all know how to smile, right? Yes, nice seeing more smiles. Wonderful, lovely. Look at those white teeth. Yeah, good. So when you smile, what happens? You are contagious. Did you know that? And really smile at anyone, because when I go out now, I'm really doing that. And yeah, the other person is like, I'm not sure, I want to smile at her. But you know what? Just smile. And even if they don't catch it then, they'll catch it 10 seconds later. And then they'll smile to the person that's coming in front of them. So really, as you smile, and I've seen this actually, as you smile, people start thinking, well, what have they got to smile about? And then they start thinking, am I missing something in life? Like, what have they got to smile about? Do you see? So that will start to make them more positive as well. It's a simple thing, but I think it's a very empowering thing. So try to smile a bit more often, and smile at people you don't know, not just to people that you do know. And as I said earlier, change the language, change the tone, change the language of your words to more positive language. So in the past, I've talked about, when kids go out, when your kids go out, don't say things like, be careful, right? Because all your words are loaded with fear and insecurity. So you don't say, oh, be careful. You don't say that. You say, have a great day, be happy, stay light. So what are you doing? You are enforcing or empowering them with that positive language. So when they go out, they say, yeah, gonna have fun, right? You don't say, they don't go out thinking, oh, what have I got to be careful about? I better watch out for this and watch out for that. So then again, because their attention goes there, that's what they create, right? And the other thing related to thoughts is just to be a little more patient with, just be a little patient with your thoughts. Because again, some people say, well, I've been saying this all day and it hasn't happened. But some things take time to grow. You don't just plant a seed and see the plant tomorrow, right? So when you have positive thinking, just trust in it. Anyway, I want to come to that, which is a whole chapter in itself. Okay, next is read positive things, positive literature, magazines, blogs, books, etc. I never really like seeing those horror movies. I mean, I'm not one for those. I just don't see the need of putting that content in my head. So just really try to stay focused on something that's going to be moving you, inspiring you in the direction you want to go. And then I've got here a couple of other nice things. So try at the end of the day to share something positive with a friend or someone you live with, something positive that's happened in your life. So not only in the day will you think, oh, I have to share something this evening, so let me catch it. But also as you share that, and then the other person shares it, and the other person, however many are living with you, it's just going to create a really nice, positive environment. So I sent a friend some nice little videos, and she said, oh, these are so nice. I wish the news was like this every day. You see? Okay, but that can become our news, right? That's not the daily news, but that can become our news. So take it as, that's my news. That's what I want to listen to today, and that's what I want to become. And the other thing that I'd like you to do is focus on a particular virtue, because all the virtues make you positive, right? Love makes you positive, kindness makes you positive, compassion makes you positive. All the virtues, benevolence, sweetness, humility, all these bring out more and more positivity in us. And so what I'd like you to do is bring one of those virtues out daily, practice it, focus on it, try to make it your fragrance for the day. And that's the fragrance that you are emitting, is the fragrance of the virtue. So imagine you are the flower and this is the fragrance. So people can't see the fragrance, but they can sense it. They can feel it, right? So think in this way, that whatever virtue I think about, that's the fragrance that's going to be emitted to everyone. And on the converse, if there's something negative I'm thinking about, then there's going to be this, remember I said, the smell, the stench of that negativity, and nobody wants to be around you. And I had this quote somewhere, where was it? Yeah, nobody really cares if you are miserable. So you might as well be happy, right? People love to be around positive people. Positive people are very contagious. Anyway, let me come to this last major bit that I think is the most important part of positive thinking. And that is that I, the being, which is the soul, in my deepest core, my deepest nature, I am a positive being. See, I didn't learn, I learned the negativity. I wasn't born with the negativity. And this is why when we get back to the essence of Raj Yoga meditation, we learn that at my deepest core, I'm supposed to love, I'm supposed to trust, I'm supposed to give and share and be kind and be loving. That is natural to me. My deepest core, my essence, my originality, my original state means that that is natural to me. So I shouldn't really need to make any effort for that. I'm only making the effort not to be negative. You see? But once I get in touch with my pure self, and I keep reminding myself that I am at heart a very pure, positive being, then all that positivity is there already. So it's just a question of remembering it. And there's not the effort, there's not the struggle. And that's what I'd really like you to remember, that I, the soul, am a pure, positive, and powerful being. And I just need to get in touch with my identity. See, when I know I'm Aruna, when I know the clan I come from and all of that, then I'm at peace, right? If somebody doesn't have their identity, they're not at peace. So having this identity of being a pure and powerful soul is my eternal identity, not just for now, eternity. So knowing that I'm that all the time just automatically keeps me above all these things. Because what do all these little negative things matter? They don't matter. Because in the scale of eternity, I have been positive, I am positive, and I will be positive. So I can't allow these little things to influence me. So if you didn't get your ice cream today, don't worry. Don't scream and shout. Because in the scheme of eternity, the soul is already fulfilled. The soul already has everything right here inside of itself. And that's what I really want you to walk away with, is my pure essence is positivity. Okay? So what I'd like to do is I would like us to do a little meditation. Vicky, I'd like to do meditation and then we'll take questions, okay? So let's just stay in this lovely feeling. Let's try to emerge that fragrance. Let's try to emerge that positivity. So just sit comfortably. Take a deep breath. Try not to be distracted. So let's try to focus. If you like, you can focus on this picture behind me. And so I remind myself that I am a pure-hearted being, positive being, and a powerful being. Just really try to feel those words now. I'd like you to really feel what you're like when you're really pure-hearted. When you do things from that pure place inside. Where you want nothing back. Just giving selflessly. It's such a good feeling. And now I'd like you to feel your positivity. Just imagine how much your world would change if you just took a positive approach. You would stay happy, you would stay light, you would have less stress. So just repeat inside a few times, I am a positive being. I am a positive being. I am a positive being. And now I'd like you to feel your power. Did you know that you are a powerful soul? Did you know that with just one thought, you can create the reality that you want? Success is just here, just very close. My thought is my power. My attitude is my power. My strong belief is my power. So right now I'd like you to create one very powerful thought for yourself. Something that you will repeat to yourself for this coming week. It could be simple as I am powerful, or I can do it, I will do it. If not me, then who? Just create one powerful thought. And now let us just stretch our imagination, come out of this moment, and try to visualize eternity. I, the soul, lives on and on and on. And therefore I choose to create the habit of being positive, because I want to emerge only the positive. And I will also merge only the positive. So imagine it's a long, long journey. And my baggage is small. And I only want to carry those things that will help me on my journey. So stay positive, peaceful, and powerful. Thank you.
So, thank you so much, sister. So I guess each and every one of us, with that very brief moment, we're able to have that experience that we really truly want to keep it in our heart. And thank you for starting this moment with us. So, anyways, some few questions that had come from some of our brothers, sisters. So, shall I start the first question? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, the first question is, it comes with a statement. Positive thinking and high vibes and feelings would automatically generate high expectations. Is it recommended to lower the expectations so as to avoid potential disappointment? Or is it better to maintain high expectations and tolerate any failure afterwards? Recommended to lower the expectation so you can avoid potential disappointment, or to maintain high expectations and tolerate any failure afterwards.
Yeah, I think the problem is with the word expectation. I think what we like to use is the word envision. So, in other words, you keep a positive vision of what is the possibility. But the thing that's wrong with expectation is it's already implied that I want something from that. Whereas when I envision, I'd like to see it happen, but it's not like I want something from it. It's more for the whole good and not just my own good. So what I'm saying is the whole thing is wrong with having expectation, and we've got to not justify any kind of expectation, because I see this a lot in conflict resolution, and especially husbands and wives, and they say, well, at least at least they should bring me the flowers, at least they should bring me the cup of tea, right? So there is no at least. There's no at least. If they do, see it as a bonus. So in that sense, don't set yourself up for trouble, but try to see the person in a positive light. Don't try to see the expectation in a positive light. I think that's the difference. When you see the virtue in the person, you automatically will bring out the best in them. But don't try to have that expectation in their answer. In their action. Yeah. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So I guess that's very enlightening. So another question, I think this is related to the first one, just more clarification. If we just concentrate on the present moment, then how to plan for a better future?
If we just
Concentrate
on the
on
present
the
moment.
present, yeah. Then how to plan for a better future?
Well, because your every moment makes your future. And also because we forget what is the future tomorrow is the seeds that we're planting today. So if your today is wonderful, it's brilliant, then you can know 100%. You can say with surety that my future is going to be great. You know, it's like if you're planting a garden or a farm or a forest, and if you keep planting the best seeds with good intention, you know that in 5 years, in 10 years, you're going to be taken care of, right? By the fruits, the flowers, whatever. So it's the same concept. Don't misunderstand that when I say be in the moment, you don't plan. You do plan. But again, it's without this expectation. And do it, um, like we use this term also, be a detached observer. Be a detached observer to all of that. And do your good deed and then just throw the result into the ocean of oblivion. So just keep doing the good and you trust that the good will emerge. Yeah.
Okay, well said. The next questions would be along the line of how to keep the mind positive. I come from different aspects, so maybe it would be good to go through. So the first question here is, how can I train my mind in a positive way? Which is a general question. And there are some questions related to that. Childhood itself started with negative thoughts. I want to change that in my life, situation, surroundings. Make me like that. How to come out from that. So another one related to that is how to keep a positive mindset during this quarantine period.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
just pasting my notes here. So you can
So it's
take
all about, how we
from.
can keep our mind positive. So one comes from a point where during childhood she has been exposed to some negative thoughts, negativity. So she wants now to change and put herself in a positive situation. And quarantine, during this quarantine period, how to keep a positive mindset.
Yeah, well, back to this positivity, we have to just keep practicing. That's the first thing I want to say. It won't come to you naturally at first if that's not what you focus on generally, right? So you will have to just practice it. It's a bit like when the doctor says, can you drink a glass of water every hour? Or when your yoga teacher says, make sure you stand up like this, you know, in the same way, you have to just continually remind yourself of this. That's the first thing I want to say about being positive. Is just practice it and find a way. So put post-it notes around your home. You know, mothers used to tie a little knot in their sari or on their dress. I mean, just keep trying to be positive. Okay, that's what I want to say with that practice. Now, in terms of childhood experience, yeah, it's not easy, but it's not impossible either. Okay. And somehow you have to be with people that you feel safe and secure. And again, just rewrite those experiences. The only way to kind of erase something from the soul is to write over it. Okay. Now, another example I can give you is, say, for example, when you're swimming in the sea. When you're swimming in the sea and you're not a great swimmer, and you get this big tide and it makes you fall over and you think you've almost drowned. Okay. And then you think, I never want to go back to the sea again. But if you do go back to the sea, and now you know how to ride the waves, you know how to, you know, jump the tide, and then it becomes a game, it becomes a joy. And what have you done? You have mastered the tide. Now the tide is not attacking you, but you are now playing with the tide. So back to whatever, I don't know to what extent something has happened in childhood. Again, it depends how deep or disturbing it is. Maybe you need professional help. If that is the case, please take professional help. But if it's something small, like what your mother said, your this sister said, whatever, then yeah, just go back and talk to yourself and tell yourself how much you've benefited from hearing that, because now you're a stronger person. I mean, some of you might know that I actually have 4 sisters, and I'm the 5th sister. And there's a little bit of a gap between them and me. So they 4 always used to kind of hang out together. And I was always the young one hanging out with my mom as a kid. And so then I knew that I was never in their circle, you see, because they were a little more teenager and I was still young. But then I learned from that, and I learned that I had to create my own identity and I had to become more independent. So I mean, at that time I felt something, but I've seen the benefit of that, which has made me more strong, emotionally more strong, more independent. And so what do you say? You say you've benefited from the situation, but you have to find those benefit points. You have to find those plus points. And until and unless you find something of benefit, you will not be able to let go of a hurtful situation. This is another experience. Find something of benefit, whether it's from the divorce. In fact, somebody here who had come, they said when they were going through the divorce, they were both devastated. They were thinking this is the worst thing that can be happening to our life. And then 6 months later, 1 year later, they both are saying this is the best thing that's happened to us. You see? So once you find benefit in what's happened, then you can also befriend the other person. You can look back on the situation and still be happy. Sorry, Vicky, long answer to that question.
Yeah, I gave 3 questions anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thank you. So quite related again, how to overcome for some waste thoughts when they become a pattern during particular time of the day. During a particular time of the day. How to overcome some waste thoughts when they become a pattern during a particular time of the day.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter any time of the day, but I think, again, we have to keep a guard. We have to keep a guard on our thoughts, and that guard is attention. I mean, it doesn't matter what time of day, whether early morning, afternoon, evening, or whether it's disturbing you at work or whatever. But the practice has to be to keep a guard. And again, as I was saying, keep going back to your original essence, your pure essence, your peaceful essence, your powerful essence, your positive essence. Keep returning back to that. Every time you get a negative thought, if you can afford to, in that moment, just sit for 30 seconds in the car, at work, whatever, zip a cup of coffee as you do it maybe, but just get back to your pure essence. And then you say to yourself, do I really need to be thinking this? I'm such a great soul. Do I need to be thinking waste? Do I need to be thinking negative? You know, you just got to really love yourself and say, no, I'm not going to take you there. I'm not going to take you to think negative. We have to sit here and think positive. This is how you need to talk to yourself.
Okay. So another question related to that, it just popped in. Really, afternoon always feeling heavier. Why? That in the afternoon there is a kind of feeling heavier. Why?
Yeah, because we've used up our energy, right?
Okay.
We slept and then we woke up. We did many things. We used our head, our reasoning, our thinking, everything. So yeah, by afternoon we're depleted of energy. But this is what I'm trying to say to you is there's not only one kind of energy. Sleep is not the only kind of energy that exists. There is yoga power, right? There is power of thought. There is power of good wishes. There is power of blessings. There's power of good deeds. This is all good energy. So sure, the body can get tired, but it can also get uplifted when there is positive thinking and positive action going on. So maybe, you know, at that time, think of doing something for somebody else. Be of service to somebody else. And that will make you so happy. That will energize you. When you see that big smile on their face, that will just energize you.
Okay, so next one is are affirmations helpful to maintain and practice positivity?
Yeah,
Affirmations.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And then,
everybody can create some. You can also create some positive affirmations for yourself. And I always say, take them 3 tablets, 3 times a day. So 3 affirmations, you repeat 3 times a day. Then change them after 1 week. Okay?
yeah. And here's a question that comes from the Arabic group. How to increase positive vibes related to that? How to increase positive vibes?
Positive thoughts.
Hey,
Positive thoughts
straightforward.
create positive vibes.
Yeah, okay. And then related to expectation, it came later. But why does it hurt when someone says they don't expect anything from us?
Because we want to feel needed. We want to feel wanted. We want to feel indispensable, you see? So when somebody says, oh, I desperately need you, then we feel good because we feel we have a purpose. We feel we exist. But we don't like people saying, no, I can do without you. I'm independent. Now what do I do then? What's my purpose? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So maybe 3 more questions, I think. The next one is, how should I behave if I lose my temper once, despite being positive almost every time? You lose the temper once, despite being positive almost every time.
Yeah. So see, you've got to also, you've got to be positive with yourself. You can't beat up on yourself. If you've had 10 good hits and 1 didn't work out, you've got to be kind to yourself. This is where I always say you have to talk to yourself like you would talk to a good friend. So imagine if a good friend did, 9 things right and 1 thing wrong. Do you start beating up on them and saying how terrible you are, how awful you are? We don't do this to a friend. So why should we do it to ourselves? Why are we so nice to our friends or family and so hard on ourselves? So no, be kind to yourself and say, yeah, okay, I missed that one, but there's going to be another chance. And, just appreciate what you are doing, right? Commend yourself for the good that you are doing. Because going back to what I said earlier, whatever you put your focus on, that's where the energy goes. So focus on what's working, not focus on what's not working.
Yeah, okay. And 2 questions coming from the Arabic group, from the Arab group. One is, how can I get rid of past memory?
Rid of past memory?
Yeah, past memory.
Well, as I said, you can't actually get rid of it. It will be there, but you can override it. And so when you override a memory, then that last memory is more obvious. Do you see? So we need to override. So in other words, the last experience will be the more prominent experience.
Mm.
So that's why we need to keep doing good. That's why we keep needing to reinforce the positive, because that's the experience on the soul, right? As a template on the soul. That's what I want to make a deeper impression on.
Okay. So from the same group, how can we practice forgiveness and help others?
By being humble, by letting go, by forgiving. I think Bahrain Meditation Center can set up a seminar on forgiveness because that is a whole subject in itself.
Right.
But you really feel good when you forgive. And in essence, we say forgive. F-O-R-E. For means first. So forgive. First, give to yourself. Give to yourself compassion. Give to yourself kindness. First have some empathy for yourself, sympathy for yourself. And then it's easy to forgive others.
Yeah, okay. So another question from the group. How to be positive with this? I don't know if they got it, what you said earlier. How to be positive with this corona?
So look for the pluses, look for the benefits. I mean, you really have to look at first, and you will find there are so many benefits. Maybe the family came closer, you got to know each other better. In fact, we had some of those stories from Kuwait. One brother was saying that he never spent so much time with his younger brother, and he realized what a cute little boy he is. So when we were all out in our own lives, in our own world, in our own room, maybe we didn't value each other. And then we got all this time, okay? Maybe we're working from home, we're not going to work. So again, appreciate that you're in your own house, in your own environment, you know, not having to get up early and go out in the cold or hot, wherever you are. Fine, make a list, really make a list of everything that is good, that is positive, that is as a result of Corona. Even communities are getting together, helping each other out. You know, people are buying things for the elderly, looking, just like seeing that they're okay. I mean, there's just so much good happening. So communities wouldn't have come together like this if it wasn't the case.
Okay, so more and more questions popping up because this is quite a big area to deal with, actually. So anyway, I don't know if this is the last question that we have to deal with. One different question. How to teach children to be positive?
By example. when you are positive, where do the children learn everything from? It's from the adults. So when you are an example, when you epitomize positivity, then that's what they will pick up. They are like sponges. So when you role model, and this is often what I say in conflict resolution, see what happens is when we get into a conflict or an argument in front of the children, it happens very naturally and instantly, right? Like you're in the kitchen, they're in the living room, you start arguing, it escalates, you start shouting. Then one goes off here, one goes off there. And then when you make up in quiet, like in your bedroom, or you make up quietly at another time when the children are not there. So the children see that the parents fight, but the children never see or observe how do they make up? How did they apologize to each other? What was the quality of the conversation? So you've got to make sure that the children see, yeah, you know what? We do argue, we do have differences, but then this is also how we resolve those differences. So make sure if you have had an argument in front of the children and it just happened, make sure they see the resolution as well.
Wow, okay. So a lot of points really are coming up along this positivity. But time is running out. But anyways, just a plug in. So there would be a positive thinking course, which would be one of our events for July. No? The Barren Meditation Center will have a positive thinking course sometime on the second week of July. So the schedule will be posted, okay? So if you would want to go through this, okay, then you can join us for this positive thinking course. So our apology for some questions, few questions were not.
And special hello to the Arabic group. I know they're in another Zoom, but special hello and thank you to them as well.
Yeah. So anyway, it has been an overwhelmingly positive, the positive vibes. I think everyone can feel and experience a lot of positive input. So it's all for us to really keep it going so that these positive vibes can reach out to all souls of the world. So I think three things that you want to keep with us from you, dear sister. The three C's. The three C's. That is the first. The first C is we choose to be positive, and from there we create. The second C, and the third is to have a positive change, to change for the positive. And really, I think everyone would want to express their overwhelmingly positive experience that we have had tonight. So thank you, sister, for being with
Thank you,
us
everyone.
tonight. Yeah. Thank you to everyone. Okay. As mentioned by sister, no, stay positive, you stay peaceful, and you stay powerful. Thank you for that. The three P's, the
Yeah,
three C's, and the three P's.
never let anyone take away your positivity, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you again. Okay. Done.